Yo, what's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to the podcast, another episode of Caffeine and Green with your man, Kono Cardenas. And per usual, before we get into it, I just want to make sure that you guys are heading on over to www.caffeineandgreenroasting.com today for all of your coffee needs. That's right. Over at the website, you can pick up any one of the coffees that I'm about to mention. Of course, I'm talking about that Issa blend, that morning sesh, and the new single origin black honey processed Costa Rican coffee. Of course, I'm talking about that Notorious. It's an amazing single origin coffee, and I'm very, very excited about it. It's a little bit complex. It has a strawberry, I think it's black currant, strawberry, and chocolate. So, super fire. Highly recommend that you guys pick that up today over at caffeineandgreenroasting.com. And also, if you guys need any of the Caffeine and Green merch that I know all of you guys love, that's where you can also pick it up as well. So, guys, all your coffee needs and merch, caffeineandgreenroasting.com today. Also, if you guys haven't been over to Steel Mill Coffee in Oceanside, California, your man's roasting that coffee for all of my homies up in Oceanside. That's right. I'm talking about my homies, Anna, Giles, Shay, Riley, and of course my homie Joel. I know any single one of them would be extremely excited to see you come in, grab a cup of coffee, say what up. It's 605 Mission. That's Mission Ave off both sides of the 5, north or south. Cruise on down Mission Ave, and you will see us right there on the left-hand side. 605 Mission, Steel Mill Coffee. Get there today. All right. My guest today is new to the podcast, but not new to Caffeine and Green. Of course, I'm talking about my homegirl, Cass Alviz. That's right. Cass has been a familiar face with the brand for a little bit over a year. But in that time, she has been doing amazing things, getting her master's degree, and that's why I wanted to have her on the show. She's doing like the biomechanics, essentially, of what she would deem a perfect Muay Thai roundhouse kick. So it was very, very exciting, and she's a good friend of mine, so it was a great conversation, and just get to, learn something new and nerd out a little bit with my homegirl, Cass. So guys, without further ado, my homegirl, Cass Alviz. This is your time to shine, girl. Let's go. Give me caffeine and green. It's your boy Connor. What's good? Good. Caffeine and green. And we're live. Cass Alviz, welcome to Caffeine and Green, miss.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Boom. There we go. There you go. I selected slushies for today.
Oh, yes.
It's been quite a minute since I actually had a slushie, but I was like, damn, I need some Fernside.
I have been missing Fernside. I haven't been since, I think, one of the last times I had it with you, actually.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
It's always Fernside, I swear. Dude, I remember one time I bought you a slushie. We went and shot. And then you drank another slushie.
Oh, yeah.
After we shot.
I was turned. I needed help.
Dude, yeah. And then we took some shots.
Yeah, we did.
Dude.
Tequila, because that's
that
my
good
killer
shit
right
too,
there.
Yep.
Yeah,
it was that Azul, too. That was like that. What was that? That fucking crazy bottle.
Yeah.
Dude, that was like last Christmas.
Yeah, it was about a year ago.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
That's ironic that we're doing this now.
I know. It's like our friendship anniversary, Connor.
Oh, it's our friendversary. Dude. Unbeknownst to me, I'm down. Tomorrow's December too, so kind of like
yeah, we're right on the mark right there.
That's pretty tight.
I know.
I'm just excited. Anyways, but Cass, so for before we get too far into it, because I've been having this problem as of late. Before we get into it, the reason I wanted to have you on the show today, just so all of our listeners around the world can hear, you are a trainer at UFC,
Yes.
Point Loma.
Mm-hmm.
Or UFC Fit, whatever. And then, when we first started hanging out, you were in college. You're working on what you're working on now,
Mm-hmm.
but now you're in your master's. Is that what it is?
Yeah, well, I've been in my master's the whole time.
Okay.
So it's like an accelerated 1-year program instead of 2 to 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm on the final steps of finishing. So my research is the only thing holding me back from my degree, I guess.
And this is, what's your master's going to be in?
Kinesiology.
Okay. So with getting a master's in this, are you going to pursue, like, before we get it super deep into the weeds, are you going to pursue like a doctorate, or is this like where the train ends?
So I'm not sure.
Okay.
Going into my master's program, I actually was using it to gain like a leg up for going to medical school.
Oh.
To become a more competitive applicant. So my dream, since I was probably in like 7th grade, was to become a doctor. But
Really?
mm-hmm,
I did not know that.
yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's super dope. Okay, so go ahead.
But this master's program was actually something I kind of made a decision on a whim. Like, I came across this program during COVID, right when COVID started. I was just like doing research. So I had been out of school for 2 years, was doing some research on like what my next step should be, because I was very hesitant to start my medical school applications. And I came across my program that I'm in now at Point Loma Nazarene University. And I knew like almost immediately, as soon as I found it, that's what my next step was going to be. Mm-hmm. And applied, got accepted, and yeah. And it's opened up so many doors and opportunities. There's so many internships and so many networking connections that I never really knew were a possibility. So as I'm finishing up my research project, I'm actually looking into internships towards more like sports science, sport performance, strength and conditioning coaches for athletes. So
yeah,
my research advisor right now actually works a lot with MLB here in San Diego, and he travels a lot.
Like the Padres and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what?
And there's just like a lot of really cool connections that I can gain internships with that I'd like to explore before pursuing further school.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
So before we get into that, now, as this was going to be just make you a more competitive applicant, mm-hmm. What were you trying to do originally in medical school?
So a lot of people don't know. There's 2 different types of medical schools.
Right.
So there's the typical MD route, and then there's a DO route. So DO is Doctor of Osteopathy, and they say they practice like a more holistic approach per se. And they do the same thing that an MD does, but they practice an extra specialty called osteopathic manipulation treatment, which is just like a hands-on manipulation of like your muscles, and it's supposed to help like manipulate your blood flow to help like when you're sick, so to help cure you instead of just drowning you in drugs.
There you go. All right. Yeah.
And so my great-grandfather actually he practiced OMT, so osteopathic manipulation treatment, and he had his own practice, and he helped me actually a lot. So I was a competitive gymnast growing up, and so he helped me a lot through some injuries and through his treatment, and he actually helped my dad a bit too through his injuries, and he's someone that really inspired me wanting to go that route in my life. Mm-hmm. So there was that, and that's still up on the table because I could use that working with athletes more in terms of like sport rehabilitation and getting them back to performing at like their optimal level. But that's just a lot of more school that I have to go through, and it's a lot of money that I'm not sure I want to go in debt for. Yeah,
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Like any type of medical school, like, oof. Yeah,
yeah.
You're gonna be paying that back for a while.
But
I mean, you would pay it off though. I mean, that's the same thing. Being a doctor, like on some level of like, you'd be making some paper.
I hope so.
I mean, yeah.
If I went to school, I really hope I was making the money to pay it back.
Well, I mean, for people who, I'm sure there's gonna be people who are listening to this who definitely know who you are. But for other people who don't know who you are, your dad is Jonix. He's he's been on the show before, mm-hmm. and he's definitely like used as a model a lot for Caffeine and Green. But he, what influence did he have on you, doing this final project, which is kind of like what I definitely want to get into a little bit more.
A very big one, actually. So When it came time for me to decide what my project was, I was actually looking more on like sport rehabilitation. And as I was looking through doing my literature review, I was very bored and I'd fall asleep like reading research articles, and I just like couldn't get into it. And I spent a lot of time just kind of reflecting on things that I love in my life that I find very interesting. And the one thing I kept circling back to is actually kicking. So learning like Muay Thai kicks, fighting, and their movement. And I started doing research on what like an effective roundhouse kick is for Muay Thai fighters. And I was so surprised to find like little to zero research on Muay Thai alone. So there was actually a lot of research that compared martial art kicks between, I don't know, say judo or taekwondo, karate, and Muay Thai. But they're all very different kicks. I mean,
is there kicks in judo?
I actually found there was an article. I have to be honest, I don't remember what the research talked about, but it was about judo kicks and like its relation to martial arts and like the biomechanics of it. But
Okay.
I don't,
Digress. Sorry, that was a stupid question. Go ahead, continue.
And yeah, so I just didn't find any research that would be helpful to athletes. Like if you look into pretty much any other sport, like running, football, soccer, baseball,
Yep.
there's so much research on not only like the way athletes move, but like the energy flow between body parts of movements, and like this very scientific, like specific breakdown of everything that they could possibly do in the sport. And then there's also like rehab for the most common injuries and all of this stuff. And I like, as I continued diving deeper into the research, there just wasn't anything. And I was like, I've watched my dad my whole life teach people how to kick. And actually when he partnered up with Nadi Aguilar, the founder of Functional Patterns, I feel like Nadi started giving my dad like the scientific verbiage, to properly teach it. And I just sat there and I was like, I feel like I should just give them the science behind it. Like, this is everything I know, everything that I really love. And it's been such a big part of my life that I was like, I just felt like I had to do it. And
sick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we talked about it a little bit there, obviously, but your final project, this is basically to graduate from your program?
Yeah.
Okay. And you decided to do it. Essentially, what is the title, like just biomechanics of a roundhouse kick?
It's like the kinetics and kinematic factors of an effective Muay Thai roundhouse kick.
Kinematic?
Kinematic.
Kinematic? What does that mean? I've never heard that.
It's like okay.
What?
Okay, I have to be honest. I still get confused between the kinetic and kinematic definition, but one of them looks at, it's like knee flexion extension, and one of them is like the velocities and like rotational forces of a movement. So I'll be looking at like how much a knee bends and extends, how much your hip either pulls like abducts, so it'll go outwards, or
Abducts, meaning like you're talking about hip abduction? Okay, yeah.
Abduction or
I
abduction.
I got you. Yeah.
And so, I'll be looking at like how wide a kick is or how narrow a kick is, how much the pelvis rotates, shoulder rotation, elbow extension, so the arm swing phase of a kick.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, I started thinking about that because I was doing research on baseball and their energy flow, because I kind of assumed that it would be like a kick but in the opposite direction.
Because they're creating such momentum.
Yeah. Well, and they use their legs to help stabilize them, right? And then everything comes from like their hip rotation and their pelvis rotation, trunk rotation, to generate that force and power in through their shoulder, through their elbow, to follow through their wrist and their fingertips, right? And
Damn.
so
Yo, that I've never thought about it broken down so gnarly like that. But yes.
yeah,
you're
and
completely right.
so I kind of thought it would be the same thing. So that my dad and Nadi speak very heavily on center of gravity, right?
Yep.
So your center of mass, and I believe, which is I'm hoping my research will show, that center of mass sits most heavily in your hips. Like your hips will be a very big dictating factor in the energy flow of your kick. And so, and that your arm swing helps kind of like is like a stabilizing factor. Your shoulder rotation is a stabilizing factor in controlling the power of that movement. You're counteracting the power of your movement in that kick.
Like an offset? Like
Yeah.
It's kind of like a weight, like a balance issue,
Yeah.
essentially. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so we'll see what it shows, but yeah.
Now, how long have you been working on this project?
Oh.
Just like your whole year? Or?
Since like January.
Holy shit, really? When is it due? Or your findings due, sorry, I should say. Like
by the end of the year. So so
like 4 weeks.
Yeah. So I'm like almost to the analyzing phase of my research. I'm just finished cleaning up a few things right now with the kicks. But it's like a very long cleaning process. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, but writing shouldn't be that long once I can pull the variables that I want to analyze. But yeah.
Dude. But that's also very exciting because in the process of this, you've been documenting it. It's been on your story. Mm-hmm. Multiple fighters have reposted this, and like you've used so many fighters, a bunch of fighters who've been on this show. Tyler Schaefer, you
Mm-hmm.
had Leov, you have Coach or your dad. You also, I saw Jeremy Stevens.
I had Jeremy Stevens.
He's a professional UFC fighter. For people who don't know who that is. Am I missing anybody? Who else did you have?
I actually had the brothers, so Luis and Manuel Medina.
Oh, you had both of them?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay. Who else?
I had Nadi, Aguilar kick. My brother actually kicked too, so Justin.
Oh, damn.
Mm-hmm.
We got the whole Alviz crew.
Yeah.
There. Yeah.
Ali Bright kicked.
Okay.
And who am I missing? Tyler's boyfriend kicked. Tyler.
Oh, the Tyler.
So I had the Tylers.
Encanto?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I think it starts with an E though.
Okay.
I had Tristan come in.
Quidditch?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sick.
And then I reached out to a couple other people, but unfortunately life events came up and they couldn't come in. But hopefully in the future I can continue this kind of research.
Dude, that's exciting. I mean, like, you have a UFC veteran who's in there. You have your pops. You have like up and coming stars who are other professional fighters.
Mm-hmm.
There's also in the story that I posted of you today, or like the little edit, whatever thing you want to call it. I don't know what the fuck you want to call it. An ad.
Which was dope, by the way.
Thank you. You see almost the process of it, of like kind of showing what you're doing, which is like there's these points that make these diamonds, which is essentially like the human movement.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes into that skeletal 3D phase. And then you can like see the actual part of you kicking. Is that how you're adapting it? Like, is it go from that diamond phase to the skeletal phase of like anatomy?
Yeah, pretty much. So what happens is we have 8 like infrared cameras positioned in a room, and then you put reflective markers all over them. So for my study, I did 43 reflective markers all over their bodies.
Okay.
And then I record their kicks all, like through those cameras. And what happens, I have to go in and create those diamond shapes. So I have a marker set in place that I pretty much go through and identify each marker for it to create that little diamond shape. And then I'll take that and extract it into a different software program that creates that skeleton. And then from that skeleton, I'll be able to extract the variables that I want to analyze to write about my findings.
Damn, that's so sick. Dude, when I seen the 3D one, the skeleton one, it was so fucking dope. I was like, what?
That skeleton one is actually a video of me kicking.
Is that you?
Yeah, that's
dude, it
me.
hella does look like you. Okay, so yo,
That skeleton looks like me. I love it.
like, you know how you say when people are walking, they have a certain type of gait?
Yeah.
Like, that's like, you could see your kick is very much like, yo, I
Yeah.
know your kick because I've seen it so many times.
Yeah.
But when you're doing that, are you looking to see, are you like, what variables are you looking to analyze? Is it offset hips, to see like, is there a force? Like,
going very basic.
Okay.
So I just want to see which variables are most commonly used between like how much like hip rotation, trunk rotation, elbow extension in the swing phase, shoulder rotation, knee flexion or extension.
But I mean, are you analyzing force, like striking force?
I'm basing like an effective roundhouse kick. So what I'm deeming as an effective roundhouse kick is on like the power of a kick.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that based on their peak linear toe velocity.
Peak linear toe velocity. So that's how fast your toe is coming at your ass.
Yeah. Pretty much.
It's like, son, there's a toe coming at you this
right
fast.
right here, right now. You can't react quick enough.
Okay. So say it again. A linear. What
Your peak linear toe velocity.
Peak linear toe velocity. Okay.
So I'm hoping that eventually. So something crazy to think about is MMA. So kickboxing, Muay Thai has been around for very many years. MMA, UFC fighters first actually aired in 1994, which is the year I was born.
What?
So it's only been around for
26.
I'm 27.
Oh,
yeah.
27 years.
27 years,
Okay.
which is a baby in terms of like other sports, right?
Of course, yeah.
And so what I'm trying to find is just the basic variables of what it means to have an effective roundhouse kick to perform when you're fighting. And if I can, my like second part of my research is to try to define an energy flow through the system. So where energy starts and how it is manipulated through like the hip, knee, ankle, leg to create that power.
Like the torque essentially is what you're talking about. Yeah.
And I'm hoping in the future that other researchers, so UFC actually has like a performance institute and they work with sports scientists and sport performance coaches. I don't know if they do a lot of research, but if they do, I'm kind of hoping that they can look at like how to save energy when they're moving in that way. So how coaches can take this research and information and teach their fighters how to move more efficiently in fight so they don't drain energy as fast. You know, like heavy hitters, they die out when they have to go rounds on rounds, you know, and how they can manipulate their movement to last longer in the cage. I think would be really cool, ideally.
Yeah, no, 100%. No, I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Now, in this process, I mean, and this is not to call anybody out at all. This is merely just from like question, hypothesis.
Okay.
If anybody you see, or like from what you have set as your standard for an efficient kick, has there been somebody based on like the pool that you have that like had essentially that great kick, but then you had another person who had like maybe a super wide kick that like lagged a little bit, you know, that like, you know, hundredths of a second that you could possibly help critique and improve?
Yes, there are.
Yes, there are. Did you tell them on the spot or like, yo, your kick is whack? No, I'm just kidding.
I personally feel like I'm still learning. So I feel like my dad automatically can watch someone. He could be 50 feet away and be like, that kick fucking sucks. You know, like my dad has an eye and I feel like he can tell just based on like the way their shoulders rise or something, you know, like his eye is so, I feel like his eye is just made for it, maybe because he's been doing it for so many years.
Yeah.
I'm still learning how to identify ways to improve kicks in person like that. Yeah. But it's been really fun as I'm learning how to marker them and make them into skeletons and stuff. Because so when they're those diamonds, you can see their shoulder offset and like their hip offset, before
Just
they
when
even
it's
kick.
diamonds, before it's even a skeleton.
Yeah, you can
Wow.
see, because the diamonds form, like you can see the way the lines raise. Does that make sense? So like
Yeah.
the hips aren't horizontal. They're like one hip, you'll have one hip up where you can see.
It's angled already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I also use like ground reaction forces to see how much force they place on like these plates in the floor.
Like a dominant leg.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's really cool because it'll show even before they kick where all their weight is. So ideally you want to be centered before your kick, right? And a lot of fighters struggle. If they're punching before, they're going to be leaning forward, so all their force is going to be moving forward. Or they'll be behind and they'll be really heavy on their back leg. And
Which you're sitting. That's like sitting
Yeah,
on your
that's
leg, which you
sitting.
never want to be sitting.
you never
Yeah.
want to drop that back heel. But it's been really fun to see like everything my dad has taught me in my life and what I've watched him teach others come into play. Like I felt like watching everyone else's kicks as I clean just really opened my eyes to everything I've ever heard my dad preach, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
Now, are you also doing, I mean, I know you're specifically talking about like Muay Thai roundhouse kicks. Have you done push kicks as well? Or like foot jabs?
no,
just
but I
specifically
think
that.
it'd be fun for people to look into in the future.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to create like a good starting point for future research in the sport. Because I think it'll be very interesting. It's unlike any other sport.
I mean, yeah. I mean, why not at this point too? I mean, you said it yourself. There's so many like rehab exercises that are for common injuries for, baseball, football, etc., whatever. MMA being so young at 27 years old, doing this research, it seems like you'd be one of the four mothers, whatever. Yeah, like that would be pushing this kind of research into a combat sport, if you will.
Yeah.
It's very exciting as well because, I mean, with this research, you could possibly create rehab exercises for that and creating like just a system, or not even a system, but like a library of things that people that will continue to push the envelope of training and exploration of the sports and how they can adapt. I mean, everything's adapting, right? Like jiu-jitsu right now, huge adaptation and just adapting to the times, because as people are getting older with like social media and everything like that, access to exercises and new techniques and all these things are just like at everybody's fingertips.
Yeah.
And you're at the forefront of this because nobody else is doing it. Even in everything I just said, nobody else is like really breaking down a roundhouse kick for you.
Yeah.
Now, have you thought about you're obviously not going into medical school right now. You're going to pursue some other avenues of interest. But say like this becomes your first step in research. Would you go as far to maybe go to Thailand and work with like, expand on that research where the Muay Thai roundhouse kick was essentially developed?
I think that would be really fun too. If there was a way, say I decided to get like my doctorate in biomechanics or something like that. I think that'd be a really fun way to continue the research I've already started. No better place to learn than where it all began,
Yeah, where it was birthed.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. Especially then because, I've heard on other podcasts, like MMA podcasts and stuff like that, people will just like praise the Thai for figuring out how to have the most detrimental arguably the most detrimental physical sport, striking sport, if you will, because like, people, again, I say arguably because, some people of their professions will tell you which one is like more effective, if you will. But Muay Thai is damaging. Like you're leg kicks, elbows, boxing and mixed in that. And then just like the kicks, everything with the kicks and the spinning elbows and just things like that. It's destructive.
Oh yeah.
To say the least.
Yeah.
And it seems like Thai people have perfected it, and they have these like, whether you watch an MMA show or whatever, it's just like these people are just dedicated to fighting and striking and just just banging on fools.
So as I was doing my research, I kind of was very interested in how Muay Thai first started in Thailand. And something interesting I came across was actually they started this sport based on like self-defense from like invaders and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Could you imagine being on a battlefield and you're just gonna like bang it out Muay Thai style?
No. I actually think about that a lot. I mean, like even wars back in the days, like being on the front line and having to like charge towards your enemy, I'd be like, yeah, bro, can I catch you later?
like with a sword.
Yeah, like I'm kind of out. Like I don't know if I'm really about this life.
Dude, hell no. You had to be about it. There was no option.
I guess
But what are they
not.
gonna do though? Like these fools have cannons and swords.
Yeah.
Or maybe guns, depending whatever like fucking what decade it is or millennia, whatever. Not millennia, but like century.
Yeah,
There we go.
There we go.
But yeah, you're gonna fucking stand there and bang with somebody, like just like fucking hands up and shit. Just
No.
like West Side. Like, yeah, I'm gonna throw kicks.
But honestly, I think the same thing about any fighter that steps into a ring or a cage. Like that takes, I mean, holy shit, I've been around this my whole life and I don't even know if I could step into a ring or a cage, you know?
Have you never fought?
No.
Never? Not once.
Never.
You train with everybody. You spar everything.
Mm-hmm.
Not roll too much, but you definitely sparred.
Yeah.
Dude. And you don't think you can get in there?
I don't know. I think what turns me off to fighting is the weight cut. I don't.
That's it?
Yeah. Because I enjoy sparring.
Dude, yeah. Like you're definitely.
I love
like,
hitting. Kind of enjoy getting hit. So. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but it's pretty normal.
It's not crazy. No, it's very well. It depends on the people you're talking to. Like
that's
the
normal
crew
for
you roll
us
with.
for fighters.
I would say the people you roll with on the normal, they're like, yeah, it's fine. Like,
Yeah,
totally,
it's good. Yeah.
Same, same, but different.
Yeah, I think weight cut is the only thing that turns me off to actually doing something.
What would you what weight class would you be fighting at?
I've actually talked to my dad about it because I feel like I have to fight at least once in my life, right?
Dude, once.
Once.
At least once.
Just one time.
Just one. Maybe like it's really maybe like just do a PKV.
Yeah.
Like a PKV.
I've talked to my dad about it because it's something that I've gone back and forth with a lot. And I think I'd probably start at like 120, 125.
Yeah.
Which is actually a pretty big cut for me. But
quit playing.
No, swear.
It's cap right there.
I think it's a lot of weight, and I don't know how I feel about being that small.
Yeah, I mean, it's tiny.
But also, I'm really into weightlifting, so I don't know if I want to lose my muscle like that.
I mean, that's the thing is though, dude. Okay, the one thing I will say, as like only somebody who's done it once, like not, but I mean, you've seen other people who've done it multiple times. When you get down to that skinny, but you've already been lifting hella crazy, dude, you're just gonna get super shredded or like cut, and then you gain like then when you gain it back afterwards, you're like
after that one meal, you're like, whoa,
you get it back, and you're like, but you keep working out, and it's like, oh, okay, cool, things are working out. You know, it's like, I think it'll be fine.
I don't know, we'll see.
You'll probably just be super jacked.
Maybe I'll think about it more once I finish my master's. Because then I'll have time. Because training isn't like I only have to dedicate 1 hour, you know? It's a lot of hours, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Dude,
the sparring's the best part, though. That's the super fun part.
Yeah.
But it's like some of those days, like, you know, when you miss those sparring sessions and then you get back in there, you're like, yeah, I got this. And then you're super rusty.
And you just get rocked?
Yeah, super hard. You're like, what happened? I could take this no problem before. Now I'm just a wuss.
Yeah, I've been super inconsistent with sparring actually since UFC went from Mission Valley to Point Loma. And I think a few months ago, I think it was actually the last time I sparred, I went around with Brian Garcia. And
Brian always going for the fucking dome, saying that fool's throwing like hard.
No, okay, so this man threw a gnarly left hook, landed it so clean. It was a beautiful hit. And it was a really great counter to whatever the heck I was throwing. But he threw it, and I felt like slow motion in a movie as my like I felt like my jaw just totally went sideways. Probably spit came out. And as my head turned to the left, I felt every like vertebrae in my neck towards my back crack all the way down. I went
whoa,
as he landed that, and I had a headache for the next 3 days. I was like,
stop playing.
that was rough, but that was so clean.
Damn.
I was so impressed. But I was very rusty, and I couldn't be mad because I was like, I probably should have moved, and I just stood there and saw it coming and took it.
Dude, yeah. I mean, you know what's so funny is that like, whenever you're training, I train with your dad.
Mm-hmm.
Your dad's my personal trainer, if you will. I don't know what the fuck, personal coach. But like, even when you go with him, he'll tell you like, you just have to be ready to be hit.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, all these people talking about you're not gonna get hit. You have to be ready to be hit. It's going to happen. Even if you have the best defense, you're still going to get hit.
Yeah.
Just be ready to be hit. Once you've accepted that you're going to be hit,
yeah,
there you go.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the one thing I just accepted from him. But at the same time, he's still very dangerous. That guy's like, he could fuck you up. Like, he makes you do the sparring with him and shit. Like, he's like, all right, you're going to spar me today. Like, and you just have like a one-on-one. This is your only opponent for the entire 45 fucking minutes after your warm-up. And dude, like he just starts picking you apart, and to the point where it's like, you watch like Instagram, like Muay Thai videos, and you see like there's this one guy I follow, it's like some fucking Muay Thai school in like London or something like that. It's over in UK.
Mm-hmm.
And these dudes will do like striking videos for the most part every day. And it's like 2 dudes will be sparring, and like they catch a kick, and then there's like a leg sweep or some sort.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, your dad did that shit to me, and I just felt like I was watching an Instagram video. Like right before the fight in September, we were like sparring, and then he just did something, and dude, it wasn't even like a pause. Like he'll give you like that one, like, okay, hey, you do this again, I'm gonna do it. It's like, okay, and then he fucking caught me again, and just before I even knew it, I was looking up at the fucking ceiling. I was like, dude, how does this man who's like literally almost 20 years my senior still just whooping my ass? Like, just make me feel like a little ass kid. Just like, and I literally, as like, it was like a good skateboard slam. Like when he swept me, I just hit my back on the ground. It was like, it was just like all back first, like upper back.
Yeah.
And just then you land. And it's like, oh dude, that sucked. Like, oh. And he's like, come on, pussy. It's like,
get up, let's fucking go.
It's like, dude, how do you just fucking do that? But then he's also like taking on professional fighters who have like some serious power. You have JJ Wilson, you have like Jeremy Stevens, you have these guys who are
even Alpha Cats and Kano.
Dude, Cat is a fucking so gnarly. But you know what's crazy is that like much like your kick that we've been consistently praising and talking about right now, is that kick is when it's done right. Yourself, your dad, your brother, you see it in the professional like fighters, and you're like, oh, I've seen that's the kick. That's John X's kick right there. Like when you see Jeremy do it, or you see Kat do it, and you see Kat do it in her last fight for Bellator, bro, you watch her fucking roundhouse, undeniable. If you train with John X, like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
And I've heard people talk about, like, you know, people throw your dad's name around pretty tough, like, yo, it's the best striking coach San Diego, it's the best striking coach in the country, it's the best striking coach in the world, like, arguably, whatever. Like, there's been people who saying he's the best. I've heard other haters say it too.
I would say that he is, but I guess I'm a little biased.
Obviously, but like at the same time,
just
like
a tad, but I think my dad's fucking dope. Okay,
dude. I mean, your dad's. I mean, like John X, he's probably just like smiling right now, like whatever. But yo,
no,
relax.
Honestly, I could hear my dad just sitting there like these fucking what pussies.
Yeah, he's like they're being super lame right now. Like
so gay.
Yeah. It's like I could just see the emojis right now, just like the zucchinis. That's all.
So funny,
dude. But no, what I was like, I've also heard some other people like kind of just like, is he really the best? I'm like, dude, again, I say I might be biased because I'm around it a lot. And I see the proof is in the pudding, right? Like, I mean, that sounds like it's like an age-old term or quote, however we want to say it. But the proof really is in the pudding. Like, you see the plethora of fighters or that come to him that want to learn how to strike efficiently and better and to be more effective. It's undeniable. Everybody be coming to him. They want to know. And then, like, you know, there's other coaches. There's obviously other fight camps, but excuse me. You want to learn how to strike, and you want to be good at it, and you want to just, I don't know, figure it out. You know who to go to. Everybody says your dad.
I would say my dad.
I mean, yeah, that's facts.
Yeah.
Everybody I've ever talked to, period, they're like, I have a homie who's like a skateboarder. He's a professional skateboarder, and he was like, I'm getting into jiu-jitsu and striking. Like, do you know who I should talk to? I was like, dude, if you want to get into striking and you're like being serious about this, and I sent him your dad's Instagram, and then you know, he's like has a lot of followers, and I was like, I told your dad, I was like, hey, so I have this skater who's gonna hit you up. You know, he's a Red Bull skater, blah, 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 this. Just to let you know that this is who it is. So he hit him up, and he's like, yeah, I talked to him. He's like, your friend's a little crazy, yeah? And I was like, small kind, you know, like a little bit. And he's like, yeah, he said he wants to learn how to headbutt. And he's like, I don't know how to headbutt. Like, he was all, he wants to do letway. And I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Like,
yeah.
Because this fool is fucking buck.
Yeah.
He gets crazy. I mean, like, he's like, I can help him with the striking and with everything else but the headbutts.
Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, no, I think it's really interesting. Like, the amount of people I run into who will, like, add me on Instagram, and they'll be like, Alviz, your last name's Alviz. Do you happen to be related to Jonix Alviz? And I'm like, well, like, what's it to you? Like, why are you trying to know my life?
Are you gonna give me something free? Like, what's popping? Like,
and they'll be like, no, like, I've been trying to train with your dad. Like, I like want to get in with your pops. I'm like, all right, so like, are you putting in work, or like, what are you doing? You wasting my time telling me like you should be talking to him? You shouldn't be out. You should be in there training right now.
Damn.
And they'll like look at me and laugh, and I'm like,
but I'm being serious.
Yeah, like,
what the fuck are you laughing at?
You're in the wrong place right now if you're trying to impress my father.
Okay, question. So growing up around, like, your dad is who he is, obviously.
Yeah.
So for everybody who doesn't know who he is, John X. Alviz, check him out. But you grew up in this world. You grew up in a Muay Thai world. You grew up in like a fight world, but also just like gyms and training and stuff like that. How did you grow up adapting to, like, having to deal with that type of, I don't know what to put it, just that type of, I wouldn't say mentality, but just situation, environment. There we
Environment.
go. Yeah.
I want to actually say that, like, for my first, like, quarter of my life, I didn't spend a lot of time around my dad or in gyms. I actually was a competitive gymnast.
Yes.
And so I spent a lot of time in my gymnastics gym training. And when I wasn't there, I was usually with my mom while my dad was at work. Because around that age growing up, my dad actually worked 2 jobs. So he had his day job, and then he'd coach at night. And then on the weekends, he would actually have his own fight team, and they'd come to like our garage, and they'd all like go on runs and train out of the garage together.
Oh, damn. Really?
Yeah.
That's sick.
And then when my parents split, I spent a lot more time in the gym. The environment actually was something I was really turned off to for a while. So my actual first like combat sport or martial arts sport was Taekwondo.
Sick.
And I did it because all of my cousins did it, and I wanted to hang out with my cousins. And I competed in Taekwondo with them. Like, I was on a competitive Taekwondo team.
Really?
Yeah. Not for a long time, but I gave up Taekwondo to pursue gymnastics. And then when I quit gymnastics, I got back into dance, and I was actually bullied a lot. So I started training with my dad.
Bullied.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, I got, yeah, like there was just like a lot of like, I don't know, girls talk, you know? And so there were a lot of people, I'd like hear things about like people who wanted to fight me, and I'd be like, oh, fuck. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I don't want to fight.
But you had already done taekwondo.
Yeah, I know, but it's different. Like taekwondo is like a very clean cut, and I mean, have you actually watched like taekwondo competitions or anything like that?
I started in taekwondo.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. No,
okay.
That's why like kicks were like, yeah, I'm down.
Okay. I didn't feel like taekwondo was gonna help me very much.
No, you don't think so?
No.
Just take a side kick to somebody's fucking face. It's like,
No, I never really thought of it like that. And so I started training with my dad. Actually, I was probably like 11 or 12 when I actually started getting more into Muay Thai. But it wasn't something that I was like very attracted to. Like I did it because I felt like I needed to know how to defend myself as a woman, you know? And over the years, I want to say around the time I hit like 16 was when I actually really started to fall in love with it. Like I could take classes all night long. Like I could take my dad's 4 all the way until he ended at 8, you know? Like I like wanted to be in the gym. I wanted to learn how to like do everything. And the environment, I feel like I grew up, it was nice growing up with guys. I always felt like very well protected in a weird sense. Like even though no one was around, like I knew that like I had people in my corner, I guess. And the mentality of just like doing something, going for it, like doing it even though you're scared, you know, or like it doesn't make sense, or not giving up because it gets hard. I think a lot of that mentality translates to everyday life, and I'm grateful that I got to grow up in an environment like that.
Yeah. Dude, fuck yeah.
Yeah, but they're crazy.
I mean, yeah.
The people fighters are just like a character. And I slowly learned over time that that's like it's normal in that environment, but not necessarily, I mean, what's normal, but like normal to
society.
Yeah. So yeah. But
well, you said it earlier, like, yo, I like to get punched in the face.
Yeah.
Like, you have to find your tribe, right? Like you got to find your little tribe of people who are like, hey, I think the same way you do. It's like, okay, cool. I'm going to hang out with you for a little bit. Because other people are like, why do you do this?
Yeah.
Like, why do you even like, it's not even just about the fighting, even like the standpoint of actually going from like a class where you're just taking a boxing class or a kickboxing class, like Ali's or your dad's, and then you go into sparring. And you're training for the fight team, and there's people who are actually training for fights. Yeah. And like to be able to step in there, like a half cage, a regular cage, whatever you're fighting, sparring, to go. I mean, depending on who you're fighting, like your like 50% might be like 100% to somebody who barely knows how to defend themselves. Yeah. So you're over here taking it easy, like, oh, I'm just gonna like jab you up real quick. Yeah. And then they're like, boom, they get hit like a couple times, like fuck, you know, like, and they're swinging for the fucking fences on you. Yeah. It's like that might be their only thing, you know. Yeah. But I mean, it just doesn't work outside of that environment. No,
it doesn't. It really doesn't. And no one, if you're not in the environment, you don't. I mean, you just don't know what you don't know, right? So you don't know, you can't understand it. You can't even begin to try to understand what it's like to be in that kind of environment and in that mindset, have that kind of mentality. But it's cool. If you want to know, show up.
Damn, want the smoke? Yeah, just show up. That's all it is. The way you said that was so cold. It's like, damn, son. Like, okay.
I talk a big talk.
That's facts. I mean, for like jiu-jitsu, you're all talk.
I'm sure. All talk.
But for sparring, no, definitely for sparring. You've definitely kicked me a couple times hard. I was like, fuck. Like, damn, I wasn't ready for that one. Like, but what I was going to say was, damn, you said something just a second ago that I wanted. What was it? Fuck. I don't remember.
Was it about me being cold?
No, that was tight though. But no, it was mainly about like, the mentality of like a fighter almost, because it's like I think I do it because it's like my only real release. Like that's what I was gonna say. It was that I've in all the time I've been training, which is like it's really been training like this hard, dedicated for like 2 years, like going on the third year.
Yeah.
There's only been one time where I lost my temper or like lost my composure, if you will, and that was during jiu-jitsu actually. So it was never during striking, because like during striking I've definitely been on the mat or in the gym when other people have like fights, sparring matches have gone a little strong and have turned into fights, if you will, or tempers get flared and all these things. But like in my head, like the way I've always gone at it, it's like I give back what I'm getting, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're fucking hitting me hard, all right, bro, I'm gonna fucking hit you hard.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna go. But at no point am I ever gonna be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I don't know.
I feel like it doesn't usually become like a personal matter, because everyone goes in knowing like, all right, I'm probably going to get blasted right now. Like,
yeah, I'm getting kicked in the body. Yeah. I'm getting hit in the fucking face.
And if I don't move and they're landing, that's kind of on me, right? Like, that's like, all right, like I got to move better. I got to train harder. And if you don't have that mentality going into it and you're taking every hit personal, you're going to like, you're just fucking it up for yourself, really, because the best mentality, especially when sparring, is being able to stay calm and cool so that you can see what's coming and how to move, looking for your opportunities to strike, type of thing. So,
yeah, I mean, I think it's very interesting too. The more fighters that I've been around, talking about seeing things, the more fighters that I've started to watch over the last 2 years, because like in addition to training, I've been like filming a lot, so I'll watch a lot of fighters and their footage and like back and forth, like to do cuts for edits. But then you start to see mechanics and you start to see body movements, and there's certain fighters that like are just so fast in their combinations, and they got the hands, they got the legs, but then they'll slow it down for you because they're like, the person that's holding pads, like they might not be having like leg guards on.
Yeah.
So they'll throw the combo like jab, like straight, hook, straight, or something like that. And then like throw a kick in there. But the kick will be like super slowed down. So it looks like it's slow motion almost. It's like, did you do that on purpose? Like, oh yeah, well, like I can't strike this person, but I'll let my hands go. Yeah. But the leg kick, it's just like, whew. Yeah. And then they bring it back and then boom, 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 the hands go. And it's like, wow, like, I don't know. It started to become, the more I watch it and the more I really start to, I don't want to say analyze, but I guess it just might be analyze fighters' techniques and styles. It's becoming more pronounced, and it's really interesting to watch. Again, that gait, if you will, but like for fighting, like how you're doing it in your style, and like watching shoulders drop and shit like that, just because that constant back and forth when I'm editing fighters footage, I'm just like, I don't know half as much as your dad does, but it's like I can watch your footage and be like, hey, you're dropping your shoulder here, and you could like, but in other ones when you're striking, like boom, you're here, like it's kind of weird.
Isn't it fun though?
I
like
mean, it's super dope.
Cool to see it. I think it, and like the way I feel like the way things make sense when you're able to view it in that light. Is it just like a light bulb, or like that light switch goes off and you're like, mind blown?
Dude. Yeah. Like, what the fuck? How did that happen? Like, how did I just now see this? Yeah. Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden, it all makes sense. Like, coach has been telling me not to drop my hip, and now I know why.
I can feel exactly what it is, or like what it is. I could see it. Visual learner for sure. Are you a visual learner? You like audio? Like,
I'm hands-on.
Hands-on. Okay. So, I mean, I don't have to get into specifics, but like, what other avenues are you thinking about pursuing that are like pulling you away from medical school and like, things that you want to pursue more?
I think so. I feel like medical school is just like a really big commitment, and the time commitment to it, not just in school, but outside of school. Like, so I worked as a medical scribe for 3 years. So I worked in like a clinic setting and in a hospital setting. And honestly, I just don't fuck with the environment. It's hard to like want to see yourself grow in something that like I love learning. I love being able to learn from the doctors firsthand, and see what they do. But I think like the commitment to it, and I haven't found a doctor that I truly feel like they were happy per se in what they were doing. Yeah, I want to work more like one-on-one with people and kind of have like be able to create my own schedule and like who I get to work with. I guess Kano, I want to be like you and be my own boss. If that makes sense. Like I want to be able to like if I have to show up for like an 8 to 5, like I still want to be able to do like my thing in that time, if that makes any sense, right? Like I want to be able to pick my clients or my athletes or my teams, and I want to be able to create whatever like rehab program or strength and conditioning program, or like I want to be able to show up to like trainings or combines and like pull out like biomechanic research on like how their coaches can help their players move more efficiently, you know, or more optimally, like in their craft. I think that's like a doper way to spend my time. I'm like very drawn to it right now. And so, yeah. But mostly I just want to be my own boss.
I mean, dude, it's not glamorous. It's not.
No,
I mean, it's cool. It's free. That gives you freedom.
Yeah.
Being your own boss gives you freedom to do what you want to do. But it's also like being your own boss. Like, yo, you said it yourself before we even started the podcast. You're like, dude, you're always busy. It's like, yeah, but that busy life is not glamorous life. It's grinding. But you're also grinding all the time anyway. So you're already a hustler. So no respect.
Yeah. And I feel like when you're doing something you love, like, I mean, think of everything you do. Like, you wouldn't change that. Right?
No.
Exactly.
No.
So it's like
at the same time though, like I have a mentality that I think is
you're very unique, Kano.
Thanks, Cass.
Yeah.
I have a mentality that is very much like, dude, you just have to say fuck it. Like and that's the only mentality that I have, but because I have that mentality, it's been accentuated throughout my life to the point where like I don't want to say it's narcissistic or selfish because I don't look at myself that way, but I would say it's like, no, it's very much, it could be looked at that way because like, no, I have visions and shit in my head of how I know I want it to look, and it's be like, if you're not doing that, or if it's not aligning with like what I'm thinking, like I don't want to be a part of it.
It's just you know what you want.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
Like
that's not bad. I think a lot of more people need that in their life, honestly. Right? Yeah. Like you got to be able to set your boundaries, and when you have that vision, you want to create. Like it's like, why would you settle for anything less when you know that you could have better or do better, be better?
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Yo, okay. Before I forget this thought, the Instagram thing. What we were talking about earlier, we're gonna expand on that idea. Remember when I was like, I DM'd you?
Oh yeah.
We need to expand on this.
Okay.
Don't let me forget that. But the point what I was getting away with, it's like, or one thing that I wanted to ask you about was like, you're doing these things, and if you're like a combine, you said it yourself. That would be so interesting. Like, do you think maybe like super hypothetical is like, maybe you go to a combine, you're doing it in real time. Yeah. Like you're filming them in real time. You're like, hey, this dude's going to run a 40 real quick. Let's break it down. And you could like literally just watch him run his 40, boom. And then he runs his 40 and you're like, nah, this other dude's better. Look at this right here, boom, in real time and analyze
Wouldn't that be sick?
That would be so fucking dope.
Honestly, I don't know if like something like that exists. I don't know much about like, especially like football. I don't know what kind of stuff they offer, but a good colleague of mine that I met through my program did an internship with a professional soccer team. And she got to work with pretty much the soccer players wore like this little gadget. They like taped it to their chest during practice. And after practice, she would take these little pods and she'd hook them up, and she'd be able to transfer everything, like all the data it collects, into a computer, like into an Excel file. And it would look at like how long they ran, how much of that time was sprinted, how fast they sprinted.
Damn. That's super exciting.
Like all of these really cool variables that are very crucial to what soccer players do, right?
Yeah.
And she would go in and create like these flashcard-esque like timesheets of all of their variables over these months that she worked with the team to see whether they're improving based on like their strength and conditioning and what these athletes need to do better, like if they're going to get cut, stuff like that, which is really cool. And I would think football would have something similar to that, but
you never know.
I know.
Do
but
you
it's
to
super.
Sit on the couch and,
no,
like,
I'm actually really, I'm really
like
comfortable
okay.
squatting.
I was like, it does not look comfortable.
No,
Okay.
I'm actually really comfortable. Thank you. Good looking out though.
I got you. Another thing. Okay, so just so I can, we're gonna switch gears a little bit.
Ooh.
But there was, dude, I wanted to ask you about this because I did see it on your thing.
I was excited that you said you wanted to talk about it.
Dude, yeah. Wait. Okay. What was it? You had a post today.
Yes, I did.
What was it? It says, okay, I just want to rent a cabin with a hot tub for like 4 days in the mountains with wine and great views. But dude, what got me was like with a hot tub for like 4 days. That's the thing. I was like, I'm about that because like I don't need a week. I don't need a month. You know,
I don't even need it to be a lifestyle.
No.
I just need a place to disconnect and reconnect. If that makes any sense. Like I need to disconnect from the world and reconnect with myself.
Okay.
Right?
That's fair.
Like I just need, that's like my recharging moment. Like plug me in real quick in that hot tub. Like let me just.
For like 4 days. Just for like 4 days.
You won't hear from me. And when I come back, I'm going to be glowing. Like, I don't know, you know? It's that easy. Like mic drop. I just need
got
something.
zenned in the fucking mountains. So
yeah.
Real quick. Dude, with winter too, like, I mean, you're a snowboarder.
Okay, I'm a new snowboarder.
You're not even a new snowboarder.
I am. For last season.
Only last season was your
last
first season?
season was my first season.
Okay, fuck. Maybe you are.
I'm a new snowboarder. I'll be hitting jumps this year though, so catch me on the slopes.
Catch me on
if
the
anyone
slopes.
has an extra helmet, I need one. So.
Jesus. Yes, definitely wear a helmet, dude. You're gonna fucking do jumps.
I don't know. You know, like fuck it, full send.
Dude, I mean, you can do that too, but you can also protect that dome.
I was hitting jumps at the end of last season without a helmet.
Wait, so do you never knew how to snowboard and you just got out there and like?
So here's the story. I've done it a few times. I mean, nothing major, like once or twice as a teen.
Mm-hmm.
When I studied abroad in Italy, my host family actually took me to the Alps, and I went snowboarding in the Alps for a couple days.
Whoa.
Okay.
Wait, hold up. I don't know if I knew this about you.
Which part?
That little thing you glossed over about being like, you know, your host family in Italy in the Alps. Like, how long did you live there?
I did a semester abroad when I was in high school.
A whole semester?
Okay, that's not that long because
dude, that's half a year. There's only 2 semesters, right?
Yeah.
That's like 6 months, yo.
Yeah.
Don't
so I
complain.
lived. So I lived there when I was 16. It was the second semester of my junior year of high school, and I was placed with a host family in Italy in this small town called Mantua. I went to high school there. I dabbled in pole vaulting while I was there. But something cool was I was there during winter, so they took me up to the Alps because I had never seen real snow.
What do you mean real snow?
Like Big Bear isn't real snow all the time.
I don't know this. Okay.
Sometimes they do it, but usually it's like man-made, handmade.
What?
Not handmade, man-made. Yeah.
The fucking these lies.
Yeah. Well, actually, so Big Bear opens on Thursday.
Okay.
And one of the coaches from UFC Fit was just up there with his family, and he told me that he was there as they started glossing over the mountain with like their white snow, but they have like these big cannon-esque type things that shoot snow, like fake snow out into the air so it spreads over the mountain.
What?
Yeah.
They don't even have real snow?
They do sometimes, like if it snows.
Sometimes.
Fuck
out.
But yeah. So the Alps was actually my first time seeing real snow.
Okay, so you're snowboarding there though.
Yeah.
So you go
but
out
I only
there.
went, it was like a weekend, so it was like a day or two.
Do you speak Italian?
I used to a
Yeah.
little bit when I lived there, but there aren't very many Italians that I found when I came back that lived in San Diego that I could speak to and practice.
Not then, yeah.
When I hear it, I feel like I can still pick up on like majority, but I definitely don't practice as much. But I'm making a commitment for 2022 to practice my Italian and German.
Okay.
And then to learn Spanish.
Oh.
Yeah. So Duolingo is going to help me.
Okay. There you go.
I'm committed.
Dude, Duolingo, and then there's if you want to do Spanish, Coffee Break Spanish is a really good podcast.
Coffee Break Spanish.
I listened to that one for like 4 years.
Do you speak Spanish now?
No.
Okay.
I mean, like, I would say, like, I can definitely converse and I can do basic, but I say this, and I say this to you specifically because the brothers, like, the brothers are born in fucking Mexico and they speak Spanish.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, like, they speak English too. You know what I mean? Like, they know how to, they can converse. I can converse when I'm in Spain and I'm in Barcelona.
Yeah.
Or like,
I mean, I
can
can get myself around when I'm in Spain.
But I'm not like, do you speak Spanish? Like, no, son.
Yeah.
Nah, we'll be good. Like, I know like, enough. I'm not going to be like, oh, Paquito, you know, like type shit.
That's so funny. Yeah, no, people ask me if I speak Spanish. I go, a little bit. And then they'll start talking and I'll reply and they're like, oh, so you speak Spanish? I'm like, no.
No, I just know more than you.
Well, I'm like, no, I'm guessing. I'm glad I'm guessing, right? Like,
dude, your dad is like speaks like 3 languages, right?
Oh yeah, that man. What doesn't he do?
Dude, he speaks like Spanish, like broken
English,
Spanish, English, and
Tagalog.
2 different versions of Filipino. Yeah, Tagalog and then like one other dialect, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, being around all these people who just be speaking hella languages, nah, son, I don't claim that shit. It's like I don't claim being from San Diego. It's like, I mean, it's getting close, but like.
I mean, aren't you from the Bay Area?
All day.
Yeah, so why would you want to claim San Diego
Dude,
when you're
for
from the
never,
Bay?
Never.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. No, you feel me? That's what's popping. But then, like, dude, I go back and I'm like, damn, I don't even recognize some of these things anymore. Like, fuck.
It's so crazy.
Am I even from here? I'm like, I'm not. Kinda.
You're like, I grew up here, but it doesn't really look the same, but it looks the same.
Yeah, it's like it's not really the same like at all, but
that's how I felt when I moved back here after college, and I was like, I'm not even sure I remember the spots I'm supposed to go to for some good tacos. I was like, where's everything at?
Dude, see, that's the thing though. Like, I feel like that's very circumstantial about like around the area that you're living. Like when I lived in PB, like I found my spot in PB, but then it's like I got out of PB.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm speaking about burrito shops, of course.
Oh, tell me what your spot was though. Do you remember?
Dude, oh yeah, it's oh fuck.
You don't remember? I
don't remember the name of it, but I can tell you exactly where it's at.
Okay.
It's on Garnett.
Okay.
It's right next to Reach Yoga.
Okay.
And oh no, it's Ortiz's. I think it's Ortiz's taco shop, but it's like.
Yeah,
number
Ortiz's
1
is the spot,
or number 2, because the other one's in Point Loma, but like it's right by PLNU and like Point Loma High School. But this one is like next to that 7-Eleven, and then there's like a Thai restaurant.
Oh yeah.
And then there's the burrito spot, and then it's.
I haven't tried Ortiz's yet. I've heard a lot of really great things about it, so I feel like I need to mosey on over there one day.
Well, if you go to the original, go to the OB one, the one that's in the parking lot next to like the New York Giant Pizza, and then there's like the bagel shop right there.
Okay. I'll have to do that. I'll text you my reviews.
I mean, the hot sauce is pretty fire, but if you really want to go for like best taco shop, San Diego, hands down, no cap. It's Trujillo's, right there on College in Montezuma, right over there by San Diego.
I feel
State.
like you're like such a little foodie. Like, you know all the little foodie spots.
Dude, but see, that was on State. Like, yo, you go there and it's like, bro, I'm not even gonna lie, like. I remember going there like in my early 20s and still feeling like, yo, I should not be here right now. Like,
that's so funny.
Like younger than you, probably like 20, like totally out of college, like 24, 25. Like, yo, let's go back to fucking Trujillo's over by State. Like, why do you want to go there? Like, because the burrito's bomb and the hot sauce is fucking fire.
You're like, I want some bomb food. And that's where it's at.
Dude, that spot, there's another, like, there's like a sandwich shop over by State. It's called 4.0.
Okay.
It's like, there's that McDonald's, I think, on like Montezuma or whatever, and then it's like tucked behind there, dude.
Okay, I'm gonna need to start taking notes,
dude. You don't even eat food. Stop playing. You just eat like count macros and shit.
No, I don't.
Hefe over here telling you what to do.
Hey, don't call out my coach like that.
I'm not calling him out. No, I know you're on your fitness, but like, yo, at the same time, there's so much, dude. I've been here for.
I'm supposed to be counting my macros, and I haven't been.
Yeah, I bet.
That's my true confession.
But dude, like, you grew up here, right? You're born and raised San Diego?
Yeah.
Born and raised here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Minus my like excursion to Italy and then Germany in college.
Wait, you went to Germany too?
Yeah, I did a year there.
You did a year in Germany.
Yeah.
Did you speak German?
Yeah, ein bisschen.
What is it? Is that a little bit? Is that
yeah, a little bit.
Damn, son. Is
yeah,
that the same time?
So no. So I did Italy that second semester, junior year. I came back. I did independent studies so I could graduate early. Worked a bit and didn't want to go to college right away. I applied to colleges. Didn't really care to start school yet. Looked up scholarships to study abroad again. And I applied to so many places. I really wanted to go to China. But I wasn't accepted, and I got this interview to be a junior ambassador for the US for the year. They like flew us out to Denver. There was like 100 kids. They chose 50, I think. I was one of the 50. And then they flew us out to Germany. We did like a month-long intensive language camp. And we actually stayed in like a monastery or something like that in this small little town. Yeah. And then we all went to the train station, took our trains to go live with our host family for the year. And so
for a year.
Yeah, I went to school out there. I was actually on a competitive dance team while I was there. And
what?
Yeah, but then I came back and I was like home for a month and I left for college after. And then I was gone for 5 years and then came back.
5 years?
Yeah.
Where did you go to college?
UC Merced.
So you didn't go home at all during that 5 years?
Rarely. I probably came home like once or twice a year and only for like a week or so.
Dude, Merced.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, you bag on it, but there's some yummy food there. You'd be real happy there.
Dude, I mean, like, no, there's like, it's very Mexican neighborhood there.
Probably some of the best tacos I've ever had have come from Merced.
Yeah, hella Mexicans in Merced.
And I've had the best milkshakes ever. I haven't found a milkshake place in San Diego that has compared to my places in Merced.
Damn.
Some of the best boba, actually.
Boba?
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of makes sense.
And Thai food. I haven't found a Thai food place that I like in San Diego that compares to my place in Merced. And Indian food.
Dude, the Indian food. No, see, that's the thing. In NorCal, the Indian food is... Son, I mean, Merced's not NorCal. It's Central California. But, like, it's close enough to Northern California where it's like, yo, son.
No, yeah. It was good. And everyone wants to bag because it's like in the middle of nowhere, but I actually really enjoyed it because it was like a tight-knit community. Everyone knew everyone.
It's so cholo there, though.
So my school's like on the outskirts of
UC
like
Merced or the Bulldogs or what was that? Fresno State. Sorry.
Yeah, we're the Bobcats.
State. Oh, okay. Fresno State. They be cause some problems over there, yo.
No, Merced can be like. So my school's like on the outskirts of the town.
Okay.
My school, like I still go there. But
alumni.
It was on the outskirts of town, and so we weren't around like all like the gangs or all the cholo stuff quote unquote.
Dude, those
stuff that happened.
Essays. They wouldn't have to say cholo. There were some essays.
No, yeah, they the locals always cause problems at like the house parties and stuff.
Oh yeah. 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew all about Merced. Like growing up, when we would like my dad and I would go to the San Jose State. San Jose State and Fresno State played in the same division. So since I was a little kid, we would go and the games. Dude, I remember going like $7 for like a ticket, and me and this fool would just go, and like a little kid, like thinking about it now, like you're walking with your dad, you're a little ass kid, and there's like grown ass men that are talking shit to you, like to a grown ass man and his kid, just like, hey man, fuck you, blah blah blah, like Fresno State. It's like, bro, literally this is a football game, and there's like a grown ass man with this kid, and I remember just sitting there like with my dad, just like, what's going on? Like,
so
these fools are gonna fight us?
No, yeah, I went to when I was younger. It was my first ever like NFL game, and it was Chargers versus Raiders. And I remember we were walking back to the car, and I don't remember who won or who lost, but Raiders fans.
Of course.
And they jumped someone, like they were looking for like Chargers fans to jump, and I saw them jump a group of Chargers fans, and I was like, I'm glad I'm not in New Jersey, because that's scary and unnecessary. Like I was like, there are kids, like families everywhere. Like I don't understand. Dude.
No, yeah. No, I actually, as I'm thinking about it, Fresno and Merced are not that close, but they're close.
No, they're close. It's like a 45-minute drive.
God, I don't know. It's just like when I get that Central California, it just all gets so fucking close.
No, they're all kind of like that though.
Dude,
From my
Merced,
experience.
did you ever like see the? I mean, like you probably didn't, but did you ever see the skate park in Merced? Did you ever see that?
No.
It was like an indoor.
They had an
fucking
indoor skate
hot
park.
tank. Yeah, like, dude, swear to God, what are you doing? What are you doing, fool? People can't see right now. Ray Ray is just being super awkward right now.
He's crawling around on the floor.
You took it with you when you went. Just go away. Just go away. There's a competition in Merced, and my mom took me, and it was like in the middle of summer, and it was a fucking just a sweat box. Like,
was it actually?
Dude, it was so like the park was actually really dope. It wasn't too big. Everything was like moderately sized, but it was just so hot and had all these fans pumping for nothing. Like they were literally just circulating hot air at this point. Like they'd put them at every opening.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna bring in cool air.
No.
Fuck out of here. It doesn't do nothing. It wasn't nothing but to circle that hot ass air, and you're just sitting there, just like. It's like this fucking like you just needed to get that trophy. Just like I need that little skateboarder with that thing. Like let's go.
Yeah, like that's mine. Eyes on the prize, baby.
Dude, that was it. But at Merced, like I remember just always going to Central California. You know, in those summer months, it was just like fuck. Or even like NorCal, like because the Bay, it's its own thing, right? You just go outside of it to the north. You're going like super NorCal all the way to Oregon, and then you're going to Central California. It's like just fucking Hicks. And I mean, it's like, and I'm not trying to talk shit. It's just what it is. Hicks and Mexicans, and it's totally fine because it was just.
That's exactly what it is.
That's what it is, man. Like, and like for people who don't know, sorry, I'm Mexican, but yeah, my dad, is so much darker than me too, and it's just like, my dad would just be sitting there, and even my dad sometimes just be like shaking his head, just like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck, man? It's just like, but that's what makes Northern California tight, like in that northern half, because Merced's like northern half. It's not like really in the middle. It's like definitely more northern.
Yeah.
What made you want to go there?
I have no real good reason.
Just
I wanted to go to a UC, easiest UC to get into at the time.
Okay.
Far enough away from home. Not in a bad way, not in a mean way, but I got to dabble in what it felt like to have some quote unquote freedom studying abroad, right?
Oh yeah.
What it felt like to be quote unquote on my own. And I felt like I needed that space, that opportunity to know what it was like I just felt like I needed space to be my own person and to define, that. So far enough away from San Diego. But now that I'm back, I never want to leave. I want to travel, but just for 4 days in the mountains in a hot tub.
Yeah. Okay, so roll back to that. So if you had to choose a spot right now, like easily accessible, because wine, no problem. Like son, I got the plug on some wine too. So just if you need some like good wine, just holler at that.
No one can see, but I'm shaking my head. Yes.
Holler at me, son.
Send it my way.
Yeah, I got you. But like, go-to spot right now. You get it. You could choose a jacuzzi. You got the wine. Where's your spot that you're gonna chill out and post at?
Like, where would I go right now?
Right now. You're already thinking too long. Should have just been in automatic.
I mean, Big Bear opens this weekend, so I'm like, I should just go to Big Bear and go snowboarding. But I've never been to Mammoth. Mammoth would be cool, or Tahoe. But Tahoe's a bit of a trip, so I feel like Big Bear would be the place.
Mammoth.
Big Bear, like Idlewild.
Dude, Idlewild.
Yeah. Because that's close enough to us that I can mosey on
Anywhere,
over.
though? Out of anywhere.
Oh, I thought you said easily accessible. I'm thinking. I'm thinking
okay,
here.
Anywhere.
Anywhere? But like not mountain views. Or mountain views.
Dude, it's what we talked about on your Instagram post.
See, if I would go anywhere, I honestly think I'd go like to Southeast Asia.
Dope.
Like back home to the Philippines or
It didn't
or like
need to be
Thailand.
snow. Yeah. What about like Bali?
I think I'd do Singapore over Bali. Right? Like just somewhere
That's
like
pretty
nice and
dope.
tropical, chill, enjoy some great views, nice beaches. Maybe go island hopping a bit.
Yeah, that'd be pretty dope. I don't really like cold, but I would say Iceland is my like go-to right now.
Oh yeah.
Just a cabin, just getting like maybe
that
some
sounds
Aurora
nice.
Borealis. Is it in Iceland or is like there's? It's basically just see the northern lights.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. I want to see that, and then like wine and jacuzzi. Boom, done, son.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. Traveling isn't like something I've thought so much about, like especially international travel. I think because of COVID.
you haven't been thinking about it at all. Like,
I mean, I've thought about it. Like I have an itch to travel.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go. I think just with COVID, I've been super turned off to it because there's just like so many rules and regulations and.
You can get caught somewhere now.
Yeah.
I mean, you could always get caught somewhere, ideally, but
I just don't want to be stuck somewhere, you know?
son, could you imagine
No.
just getting stuck somewhere?
No. I hope it's somewhere cool. I
mean,
hope I have enough in my savings to get me through however long I'm stuck there.
Fuck it, though. Like, it's like, if I got to a point where it was like that, I'd be like, fuck it. Like, it's just
I mean,
gonna
you can't do
stay.
anything about it. Like, you just kind of,
Exactly.
you got to go with the flow there.
I'm going to ride it out.
Yeah.
Just going to go with it.
I'd be calling my dad, hey, Pops, you got some extra money? You can Venmo me real quick.
Yo,
I'm just kidding, Dad. It's a joke.
I traveled to South Korea once, and, like, it was the only time I've traveled so much, like, overseas now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the only time in all of my travels that I lost my cool. Like, they took my passport from me. It was so scary. And I remember, like, after everything was done,
I just got the chills.
dude, it was the scariest moment of my life. They
No.
took my passport, and I was
Oh
just,
my gosh.
I gasped in real time. I was just like, I just like watched them leave it. I was just like, nah. And I couldn't say anything. And they just, I could watch them take my passport. And I was like, I'm stuck. I didn't, but this is all happening in my head. I was like, I'm stuck. Oh my God. But all that came out was,
Yeah.
you know, like, and then it finally ended. And then I remember my friends that I was with, they were like, bro, you can either lose your cool right now, or you can just, I was at a coffee shop. I found a coffee shop in this airport.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't speak the language, but the coffee shop had English on it. And I was like, okay, cool. I can figure this out.
It's really scary traveling somewhere where you don't understand or speak the language. And then especially in a situation like that, because you don't even understand what the fuck is going on. You're
Dude,
like,
why are you taking my passport?
passport? Like, where? Why?
I give it back.
Mine. That. Me. Now.
I know you can understand this real quick, the back and forth. But,
it's scary.
dude, it was like, I remember they were saying you could freak out or you can just like be cool.
But you have to be able to, like, you have to be able to think in those situations, you know?
Well, that was the thing is I
And
was
you
able
don't
to.
yeah.
Yeah. It was able to be cool. And then I remember from that point, when I've traveled abroad and traveled in other situations where like things were completely out of my control. Like shortly after that, I was on a trip to New York, like, and had to go to New Jersey. And then from New Jersey I had a direct flight from New Jersey and I ended up going to North Carolina and Phoenix and then to San Diego. Instead of going straight from New Jersey straight to San Diego, it ended up being like a 8-hour endeavor.
Yeah.
And it was like, dude, I was like, I'm so thankful that I had my passport taken when I was in Korea once. And I was just thinking about like how crazy that made me feel, to the point where it's like I was in a part of the country where like, hey, at least they speak the fucking language.
Yeah.
There's alcohol.
Yeah.
There's no weed, but I'll figure this out, you know? But it was like, dude, fuck. When you're just like in those third world countries or like in Southeast Asia or like these like anywhere Asian countries that are just like, well, yeah, fuck it, dude.
Yeah, you're like, well, at this point, it's just going to be what it's going to be. Let's see what happens next.
Exactly.
Stay tuned.
So that's why I've been like chomping, dude. I can't wait. Like I want to.
So is Iceland going to be the first place you go to?
Northern Lights is what I want to do. I need to see the Northern Lights, but you can see those here though.
So like you grind, right?
Grind.
You grind.
Tough.
Mm-hmm. Do you like take time off like that?
You know what's funny is
like when was the last time you took time off, Kana? I feel like even your time off, you're still working, right?
More
Yeah.
más o menos. Fuck. I don't know. I honestly don't. Maybe 4 years ago.
Wow.
I took like a week and a half off, 2 weeks.
Wow.
Week and a half. It was 10 days.
Okay.
Week and a half. Yeah. 4 years ago.
Damn. So is Iceland like your 2022 goal or like
No. I think like
2023?
No, I don't know. I don't know when it'll happen. I think it's maybe just a goal. Because, like, I don't really see myself slowing down anytime soon. Like, to actually, like, if I'm going to go out of the country, which I will go travel abroad. But it's, to your point, it's definitely going to be working. Like, I'm going to go to Latin America. I'm going to start exploring Latin America.
Oh, fun.
But I think, like...
That'll be really cool for, like, coffee roasting, especially, right?
That's exactly why I'm going to go.
Okay.
It's going to be for business related. Like,
yeah.
I'll do, fun. Like... Yeah, like, maybe do, like, 4 days in Mexico City with, like, Ray and, like... Have some fun, 4 days, like, but 4 days is 4 days.
Yeah.
So, but it's like, it'll be in congruence with like, or in alignment, I should say, with like doing like trying to go to Costa Rica right now.
Okay.
Like, cause I have a new Costa Rican coffee, but, I want to be able to create the relationships with these farmers that I'm using their coffee. So
yeah.
I think it'll be like, maybe a week in Costa Rica, strictly working, just coffee. But with that, you get to experience the culture and like food and like.
Yeah,
cool
like
shit.
It's like work and play all at the same time.
Exactly. So it's like, is it really a vacation? No. Is it really work? Not really. But like, put them together. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. And you'll come back feeling like more motivated and recharged.
I think so, but at the same time,
But you deserve like a vacation where you don't work. You like that exists, Connor.
Maybe. But it's like, what? Yeah, not really though. Like, what?
I mean, I guess when you're your own boss.
I mean, dude, it's never not gonna be working. It's like,
maybe I don't know if I want to be my own boss.
Yeah, dude, it's not. No,
I do want that. That's the life I want.
I get like a couple hours as opposed to like days. Like in a week. Maybe like you accumulate it up every day. It's like every day there's like a solid 6 hours spread out throughout the day where like maybe I did an hour here. I worked on a project that was like specifically for me that wasn't work related. But I don't know. Like I don't really need to go on vacation though.
You love what you do.
Yeah, it's like
you don't need a vacation from your life like most people.
But at the same I mean like at the same time too, like a part of my life is seeing, like I said earlier, like in the conversation, it was like I go to the gym but that's also like, as much as it's my physical exercise and my outlet, it's also like my socializing. I don't know if that sounds lame or not, but like
no, it doesn't. You have a community there.
Yeah.
It's not like a lot of people go, they put in their headphones, they don't meet anyone. Right? Like, you have friends there.
But it's like, I feel like it's like the way cooler people. Because there's like people who just like work out, and then there's like people you punch in the face that are your homies. That it's like, oh, those are like my true homies right there. Like, I'm not trying to talk to people who are just like working out every day. It's like, no, I want to I want to talk to the people who are like, yeah, we lift, but like, yeah, I'm over here punching you in the face. And like, but like at the end of the day, like, yo, that's so dope. Like, that bond is stronger than like somebody you just like lifting weights with. I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong.
I mean, it's different.
It's different.
I feel like punching someone in the face is way more intimate than lifting.
It's super intimate.
Well,
super.
It's like when you get really into jiu-jitsu, what I could imagine is that like you create like really great bonds, right? Mm-hmm. Because you work in such close proximity.
Just like the sweat.
Like you got their sweat dripping in your eye.
But dude, when you're punching somebody too, and you're like a super close proximity, like boom, all of a sudden you just get hit by like their wet ass glove, and it's just like,
you're like, oh gosh.
It's just like I feel all that so tough.
And like you're so sweaty, you can't even like wipe off their sweat.
Nah, hell no. You don't want to like even try to like fuck over this nonsense.
Yeah,
dude. Okay. Either way, but Cass, we've done an hour and a half.
Dang.
Dude.
Our time has come to an end.
Cass, it's super easy to talk to you, and I knew we're not gonna have a problem talking at all. But just I wish you nothing but the best. I think it's super exciting that what you're doing, and I can't wait to see your research and the findings that come out of your research.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for giving me a platform to share it.
Dude, yeah, you sound so smart, and it's so fucking dope. Not saying like, I hope it doesn't sound like you're not smart, but it's just like to hear you talk so eloquently and with so much passion about what you're doing, and to see that it's leading you into these different avenues and paths that you didn't think were possible before is super exciting, and I'm very excited for you.
Thank you. I love that. I appreciate the support always.
Always 100.
Yeah.
But Cass, tell the people where they can find you on Instagram or anything. Or if they want to get a training session from you, because you're an amazing trainer at UFC Point Loma Fit or UFC Fit Point Loma.
Yep.
Shit.
My Instagram handle is Cassandra.
Cassandra.
ONDRUH_.
There you go. Boom.
Message me if you want some sessions,
Yes.
or you want to find out more about my findings for my research, or you want to go line dancing.
Oh, that's right. We didn't even get into that. Okay, perfect. Okay, and then, well, Cass, thank you again for coming on the show. And I always tell the guests this will not be the last time you're on the show.
I hope not.
Always. All right.
All right.
Peace. Yes, thank you so much, Cass. That was an amazing conversation, and man, I feel that much smarter just so I got to talk to her. Damn, such a wealth of knowledge. Cass, thank you again for coming on the show. Much appreciated, my homegirl. And guys, I just want to say thank you to all of you around the world who continue to support Caffeine and Green every week, listening to the podcast, buying the coffee, whatever it is. Caffeine and Green is what it is. And I just want to say thank you all again so much. And guys, if you haven't, head on over to caffeineandgreenroasting.com today for all of your coffee needs for that Issa blend, that morning sesh, or that Notorious. Also, if you wanted any of the Caffeine and Green merch, you can get everything that I just mentioned over at caffeineandgreenroasting.com today. And guys, that's it. Thank you so much again for listening, and I'm looking forward to December. Happy holidays, y'all. See you next week. Peace.